Okay, so what's really going on? What's going on is an interest in what is my story. And there's no interest in it for me at all because stories, any child can make up a story. Good imagination, that's a great story, and that's what all of your stories are, children. I don't care if you're 85 years old, you're a child in the way you make up stories. I know, but I experienced this story. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you're calling me. Yeah, I am. What you experienced and what you said is real is what we call a 3D timeline. What does it mean? It means it only happens in 3D. Where are we now? We're in not even 4D. Why? Because we're trying to get you up to like 7D. And you're recalcitrant, which means you don't even want to go and take any kind of therapy for whatever's going on with you. So you're clinging on to your stories like you were a Klingon warrior from Star Trek. Because that's all you have to hold on to is your stories. Your identification as a person is totally tied up in the stories that you keep telling yourself and telling others. Well, I got photographs of this. Yes. What else do you have? All of these things that happened are 3D. And it means that they are all based upon ego, which is all based upon you being a separate thing from everything else. And everyone else in those days, and still for many of you today, you're wrapped up in ego and ego stories. And if you jumped immediately up to 5D, these particular stories would be, that's kind of weird. Because in 5D, these stories, they're not even good stories. Because they're totally distorted. Totally distorted because you were being run around by the false self known as the ego. And if you're in 7D, your ego, you don't have one. What do you have? I can't even tell you because I'm not at 7D and I don't think I've been to 7D. And even in my visits to 4D, pretty much I still see a hell of a lot of story. When do you ever escape from these stories? I got to tell you stories about these other places. Am I making them up? No, they're being channeled to me by people who are in these other dimensions. What does channeled mean? It means they're connecting to me and my mouth, and they're telling. But it's not. I'm not making these up. I mean, I haven't written down these stories or thought about them, and I'm going to tell you, another episode of. I don't know, whatever it is that you like to watch episodes of. I'm telling you something that is coming from beings that are in higher dimensions. And they're telling us that the stories that we keep saying are so important to us are how we identify ourselves as being separate from someone else. This is my story and this is who I am. This is my biography. I watched another one of these biographies. They used to have a channel on TV called Biography or something. It's all a bunch of story. And you get trapped in your story, and that's all you are is your story. And all the things that go along with stories. Like, I don't know. So the whole point of this is you have to evolve to higher consciousness, which means you're going to have to gradually wean yourself off stories and your egoic nature. And the ego is the false sense of self that you have because you're separate from everything else. Aren't I? Well, this is the whole thing. It's like, this is like we call it 3D. It's just the way things have been on this planet for a great long time. And we're looking to change things on the planet, so all of us have got to change. Which means we have to be prepared to let go of all of these stories that we're identified with. Because you can't drag your stories into 7D. Because then it's still going to be 3D, and it's not 3D / 7D. It's not that. I'm someone must have. This is the problem. No one wants to give up their stories. And that's all I can tell you. And in conclusion, why do we want to go to higher dimensions? It's because it's time for a change. Because in 3D, where we all have these ideas that we're separate from one another, we pretty much want to look out for me, 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 me. It leads to great greed, which leads to great imbalances in our societies and on our planets. It damages the planet and it damages people. And that is basically what I want to tell you. Egoic humans lead to hurting, trauma, pain, blame game, and kind. In kind means you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back. It leads to what's known as the cycle of abuse. And you can look that up on the internet. The cycle of abuse, abusive relationships, and when some people are incredibly powerful, rich and powerful, or powerful through things like governments or crime syndicates, these people can really hurt a lot of people so horribly. It's unbelievable, some of the stuff that happens. Anything from warfare to homelessness, addictions, murder, rape, kidnapping, all kinds of corruption, poisoning the environment, slaughter of animal life, clearing of ancient forests, denuding mountains from their natural forest cover, toxic waste buried in toxic waste dumps, radioactive shit no one really knows how to store safely, criminals that are saying, I'll take that shit off your hand for you, and they disappear in the middle of the night and you don't know where it went. Endless horror. And it's all rooted in people and their belief that they're not one thing. Aren't we? And this is the issue, is that humans have got a lot of problem considering from another perspective that they're all one thing. How are you ever going to get to that point? Well, pretty much you have to hear about it, and then you got to guffaw, which means, laugh, like, are you kidding me? Well, that's what happens when you first hear about these things. For most people, they do what's called poo-pooing it. It's like, seek help. Seek help. You got something wrong with you. I got a mental illness. There's no way that I'm part of the whole thing here. There's me, myself, and I. That's what I was taught. That's the way it is. And that is how a lot of humans are going to take the idea of other dimensions and other ways of being. So it's a long haul because you got to hear these stories a few times, because the first few times you're just going to laugh at them and forget about them, and then you might hear them again. You're going to, oh, this again. Oh, I don't want to hear this again. I don't want to hear this again. I don't want to hear about this. It always comes with all these other baggages, you know. Like first they tell me about this, then they want me to go go to some seminar somewhere, listen to somebody, and then they always have these testimonials of people, and you know, and they got all these weird words that I don't know what it means, like what does holding space mean? How can you hold space? You mean I got a hand, I got to have like an apple in it to hold something. Holding space means like holding emptiness. That's what they say. They're going to hold space for me. Hello, you can't hold space. There's nothing there. I need something to hold on to. I need some binoculars. I'm holding binoculars, you idiot. This is holding space. I'm not doing anything. You people are crazy. It's very difficult to help people because, these new concepts, ideas, they don't jibe with what people know from 3D ego life. They just don't get it. And so anyways, it's difficult. What else do I want to tell you? Well, that's primarily what I'm doing, is I'm planting a seed about this word clearing space. It's like if you take a foreign language. When I was young, in our school systems, everything was taught in English, but you could take French. It was mandatory, actually, starting in about 5th grade, I think it was. And by that time, it was too late. If you really want to learn French, you've got to do French immersion. You've got to learn it when you're very young. Because, if you start in 5th grade, you're always going to have a nasty English accent. And the words just, you learned English when you were, I don't know, starting when you were born. Started hearing English. And, you start hearing new words. And when you're 10 years old, I don't get these words. I don't know what they're saying. Spell it out for me. I remember it was like, the French teacher came in and she didn't talk in English. She came in, this is French. And she did this. Stasteelow. She didn't put it on a blackboard or anything to spell it out. So what's this? This is a stasteelow. All of us said stasteelow. I still remember that. Stasteelow. She was saying pen, and she was saying, c'est un stylo. And my French is terrible, but c'est un stylo. This is a pen. We heard stasteelow, and that's what this thing is, a stasteelow. So, at 10 years old, and it was only one class a day, so, it was very slow going, but that's what it's like when I'm telling you about holding space. You're an old person. Holding space makes no sense. Stasteelow is when she first did this, it was like I wasn't even looking at the pen. She's saying, stasteelow, stasteelow. And then we're looking at each other in class and we're going, what the hell is she saying? This is crazy. Let's go back to art, or when's recess? I don't like this. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then she's flibbergibbeting this thing around. She's going stasteelow, stasteelow. And I go, this is... Yeah, it doesn't work. And so what I'm saying, holding space, you don't understand it because it's new vocabulary that you never heard of before. And I don't know how old you are. Let's say you're 18. I don't want to learn anything new. I'm sick of high school already. I really, I'm still going to high school. I'm still taking classes. And I can tell you, I have no more room in my brain to take in any more information. No more room. I want to. I don't want to listen to you. Whatever you got to say, no, I don't. I've already listened to adults all day long. I don't want you. So that's what an 18-year-old says. Somebody who's 25 says the same thing. I've been at work all day long. I don't want to listen to you. 35, go away. 45, I'm 45 years old. I've been on this planet for 45 years. I know everything about this planet. 55, buddy, you're 50 years too late. You should have hit me up when I was 5 years old. I'm 55. I'm dreaming of my retirement. Like if I can get early retirement before 65, that's what I'm going for. I don't want to listen to you. I'm 65. I just retired. I worked for 40 years, more than 40 years, plus all this schooling and everything. I just got out of jail, work jail, school jail. I don't want to learn anything. I don't want to even watch you. You're not funny. I'm going on a cruise. It's all you can eat, all you can drink. 75. I'm 75 years old. If I've got any energy whatsoever, it ain't gonna be me learning about holding space. I'm 85 years old. It's a wonder I got this far. I don't have much time left. I could drop dead in 10 minutes from now. I really don't want to learn anything new. I'm 85. So that's humans. Humans don't want to leave their cocoon of what they know at any age. Stasteelow.